I hate it when I completely forget to turn the damn, microphone back on. So, we've been working, pretty diligently. And I'm at a point where I just don't know why this is not working. I came in here. Wait, that's the clock tower. We came in here and we tried to, get it to work, but no matter what I do, it just keeps failing when I try to cast to the game state. Even though I can, get this game state. Alright, let's jump out. Eject. Okay, we've got that selected. Okay, let's try doing a on begin play with the construction script set up. So, if this is correct... What was that? I think somebody just followed us. Ah! Hi there! Okay, so with begin play... Well, it seems to work. But, that could also just still be the construction script. So if I disable the construction script... Do the... Oh! No, that worked. But, is it actually grabbing the state? So let's do a print. And... Event failed. Ah, event failed. I spelled that terribly. I'm such a failure! Okay, I am kind of at a loss as to what's causing this. Oh, about ever since it first came out. Not, super hard though. I just do it, whenever I feel like playing around. But this particular one is really kind of pissing me off. I'm trying to do something new and it's just not working. See, I have it set up that, with an ideal state, it should get the game state or, the game mode, or whatever kind of manager I'm using, and feed it to here. I can pull out the current day number and set the tower based on that. Problem is, that keeps failing, so it just goes straight up here to the base one, which is, letting me do that. Now, if I actually come here to the time manager, you can see Daynum actually has a set. Dave. Right now I'm working on a clone of Majora's Mask. Complete with the evil moon. Okay, let me bring it closer. Yeah, he's gonna crash. But right now I'm just trying to get this tower to switch between these depending on what day it is. So I need some sort of global variable that lets me do that. Now, the blueprint itself apparently works. I just need to be able to change this number. Oh, is that how I freaking do it? Oh. Okay, now how do I change that number, though? Huh. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of rework here. Take away that. Put in that. And that does this actual switching. So now I don't have to worry about, you know, that little thing. I just have to be able to set day. And then go to that. Mostly though, no. I'm doing all the blueprinting, I'm doing all the stuff, but this is all exported directly from Majora's Mask. All these textures and all these models are directly exported from the game. I only got this one town. I only started with this town. But yeah, we're gonna have a fully realized, you know, town to run into and around when I'm all done. But I just needed something that I could, you know, run around in and do testing when we do the while I work on the gameplay. Plus, I wanted to actually get it so it goes all the way around. Yeah, that was actually what I considered doing, that variable. The problem is, trying to figure out where to put a global variable that adjusts, you know, time of day is not exactly, you know, where I'm starting to have the problem. It's the getting them to communicate to each other. That seems to be the issue. I don't know, maybe I need to do a function library or blueprint interface. Except that doesn't transfer... let's try this. Alright, so... get day. Outputs an integer. Day. Okay, class settings. Add time interface. I want to make this as dynamic as possible, and doing something like that in Matinee could be an issue later on. Especially when you want to be able to control whether time is passing or not. What is with my nasalness today? Get. I think that's how I do it. I don't remember. Implementing blueprint interfaces. Calling functions on other blueprints. Okay. So this might actually be what I wanted to do. So, using that, come over here now. Add time interface. Remove all this. Get day. Hey! Class time interface. Time manager. Alright, so get time. Let's do time manager. Get game instance. Cast. Get game state there we go. Is this gonna work? Holy crap, I think it worked. Yeah, it doesn't do anything anymore. So if I come over here to Time Manager, set day note to compile. By the way, if you can, with titty, that would be awesome. I'm not quite sure what the with titty is supposed to be. With title? Anyways, yeah. Let me respond in chat real quick. No problem. So, yeah. Sorry you're having streaming issues. That might be my fault. I don't know if I have the settings right, but you never know. So, we are currently having the issue where, yeah, good luck to you too. We're currently having the issue where, you know, I think I got this to actually, you know, work in that it will get the day from the game state. And that's pretty awesome. Problem is, I don't think I can set the game state. Ah. Huh. Oh, it's your internet connection? That's too bad. Good luck, man. I hope your internet gets better. But it's nice to know that Costa Rica has, you know, Well, there's poor internet everywhere. It doesn't have to be just in Costa Rica. Alright, let's actually work on some time interfaces here. Because we need get day, and we also need another one, set day. Input is an integer. Day. I think that's how this works. I haven't done too much with interfaces. Okay, it won't let me load it back in. Interesting. Well, let's close that out. Come back. Class settings. Add time interface. Oh, probably because I have get day still. Okay, so why is get day there, but not set day? Maybe it should be a function library. I don't know. Anyways, let's just close that. Nope. Nope. Huh. Oh well. So, we seem to have this available. If I set the day manually to default and recompile, nothing happens. So, that tells me that it didn't work. And we need to edit this. So it could be the default day, and that's what's causing the problem. So let's try doing a cast. No, it's failing. Okay, I am thoroughly confused. Direct blueprint communication. Yeah. Blueprint interfaces. Let's All right. Blueprint casting. All right, let's just do. I'd like to keep this out of a level blueprint, but may not be able to. I have to do a constant. Okay, one moment. Sorry about that. Nose is just really stuffy right now. Event dispatchers. That's probably the best way to go with this. Alright, so let's try doing a event thingy. Actually, let's start with the time manager. Remember, bring this window up on my other screen. Haha! 2 windows for the win! Alright, event dispatch. Create event. Okay, add event, custom event, day switch. Event dispatchers. Okay. Bind event on... Damage input. Function. Change day. Bind event. I have no clue how to do this. Let's, I've done event dispatchers once or twice before, but... Event dispatcher, there we are. Day change. Alright, so creating one. Setting the properties. Inputs. Integer. Day. Now we're going to take off that because that's obviously not what we need. So now event day changed. That too now. All right. Using event dispatchers. So I actually need to come over here and create a day changed. Day. Integer. Event set power. Let's go back to have that there. And just to be safe, agree. Actually, no. Let's, can I put this in here? So let's just delete all this. We'll just default back to 1 for right now. So now, call. All right, change our day change. It's got to be the same in both. There we go. Could not find a pin for a date sheet. What? Oh. Copy signature. Call. There we go. Dana. There we go. Okay. All right, so let's go to Time Manager. Change it to 2. No. Event begin play. And we're going to set it to 2 manually now. We can event begin play. Okay. Event dispatchers. Binding one or more events to an event dispatcher, you can cause all of those events to fire once the event dispatcher is called. These events can be bound together with a blueprint class, but event dispatchers also allow to be fired from within a level blueprint. Alright, create one. Do this. By selecting event dispatcher, my blueprint, blah blah blah. Set tool tip and category. The process to add inputs to your event dispatcher is similar to blah blah blah. Once you have created an event dispatcher, you can add event nodes, bind nodes, and unbind nodes to your liking. Although you can double click the event, the graph is locked and you cannot modify the event dispatcher directly. The bind, unbind, and assign methods all allow you to add events to the dispatcher's event list. While the call method activates all the events stored in the list. Okay, so let's do some binding. Trip, day 3. Event graph, day 2. Alright. Alright, all of the nodes except for the event node. Calling event dispatchers. Calling event dispatcher with call node causes all the events bound to event dispatcher to fire. Calling the event dispatcher will have no effect if there aren't nodes bound to it. Okay. Binding and unbinding of events. I think I need something more stronger than just one of these tutorials. Because right now I'm just going through the Unreal collection of stuff, and it's just not giving me anything that's working. every time I try to do it, it's just, you know, no, I'm fine. I'll just live like this. That's just really frustrating to me. All right, let's try. Event dispatchers. Seriously? Alright. Alright, let's drag off the events dispatch. Oh. Alright, bind. Bind event to date changed. Add event. Set day. Okay, I doubt that did anything, but... Alright. Yep, I gotta look up something stronger. Blueprint event dispatcher. Okay, so we're gonna watch a little YouTube video real quick.
In this tutorial, I'm going to show how to communicate between the level blueprint and a class blueprint. First, I'm going to create a class blueprint using this mesh. I'm going to call it.
Alright, and I'm going to pause the music. So, let's... Yo, dog, I heard you like watching YouTube videos, so let's watch a YouTube video about watching a YouTube video.
In this tutorial, I'm going to show how to communicate between the level blueprint and a class blueprint. First, I'm going to create a class blueprint.
I don't want
using
that.
this mesh. I'm going to call it
communicate between two class blueprints.
So there's our mesh. I'm going to go straight to the graph, and I'm going to add what we call a custom event. So a custom event is an event node that we can name ourselves and can be fired from outside this class blueprint. So I'm going to call it.
Okay, we already have that.
Move by. And then with this node selected, I'm also going to add an input. I'm going to call it amount. I'm going to change its type to be a float. So every time this gets called, I want to move the mesh. So I'll get a reference to the mesh, and then I'm going to add a local offset. So this adds a local space translation. I need to build that translation vector. So I'm going to choose make vector, and then I'm going to wire that amount variable to the Z component, and then wire up the execution line. So hit compile. So now we can find that blueprint that we just made, add it to the level, and now inside the level blueprint, now that we have that instance of the blueprint selected, I can now right-click and call functions on it, and I can use that move by event. And I'm going to tell it to move by, say, 20 units. Now we want that to fire off. I'll have it happen to a key. So if I do type in key and then choose, say, the F key. Every time I press the F key, we're firing that custom event on that blueprint, and that should move it by 20 units. So let's play the map. And every time I press F, the box moves up. So one thing also I can do is I can communicate from inside the blueprint back to the level blueprint. So to do that, open up the blueprint again. I'm going to add what we call an event dispatcher. I'm going to give this a name called You Hit Me. So what an event dispatcher is, it's basically a way of firing to anyone that's interested, notifying anyone that's interested that something's happened. So I place this into the script and call it. I'm going to use the hit events. This is when someone walks into it or something collides with it. Every time that happens, it will now fire this You Hit Me event, event dispatcher. Now this could be anything. This could be when the thing dies, when a safe gets cracked, any kind of event that happens inside your blueprint, you can now notify the level blueprint about. So if I go back to my level blueprint, compile that to make sure it's happy. If I go back to my level blueprint, I've got that box selected, and I'm now going to right click and add an event for it. And you can see the You Hit Me event inside, along with all the other standard events like collision and overlap. So every time that it gets hit, I'm now going to print a string, and I'm going to say ouch. So now, when I play my level, whenever I walk into the box, you can see ouch appearing in the top left corner in blue text. And that's now that box notifying the level blueprint about the collision or about any other event that could be happening inside the blueprint.
Okay, this is probably going to be better.
Hey again everybody, and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at how to do some blueprint communication and communicating between several different types of blueprints as well as the level blueprint. So let's go ahead and get started. I have the blueprint first person template project up. I also have starter content enabled, so we have some things to play with. And first thing I'm going to do inside the blueprints folder here is just right click and create a brand new blueprint.
I know it
class.
sucks when,
so once I
the
do
people
that,
have to do
class,
this.
I'm going to
They
choose
have to watch a video in order to learn stuff. Even worse, they're making a video about watching the video.
Blueprint. And what we're going to do is place this blueprint.
I'm so
inside
sorry
of our
about
level
this.
and
It's
have
just,
our player character blueprint interact with it in a way
I like to
so
do
that
this
we
stuff
can
off
move the
screen,
cube around
but
our
yeah,
level
I'm just.
whenever a button is pressed by our player.
I'm tired,
character.
and
So
I'm
let's go ahead
getting
and
frustrated.
open up the movable cube blueprint here. Shape cube.
Right, let's
material.
skip all this.
For
You got your
custom,
cube.
add our own here. And let's right click again and release. And in the search bar, go ahead and search for custom event. Now, custom event will allow us to name the event as well as provide any kind of inputs that we want to specify as variables for this event. So go ahead and click the Add Custom Event button. It's going to prompt us to enter a name. I'm just going to call it the Move Cube event. And also with this custom event, we could call this custom event inside this blueprint. If I right click and say Move Cube event, you can see that we can call that function here. But we can also call this externally from other blueprints. So that's exactly what we want to be able to communicate with this blueprint. First thing we're going to do though is make sure that our custom event is selected here. And we're going to add an input here. So hop over to the details panel, go ahead and click the new button here. And you see it adds a new parameter input here. We're going to change the type. We're going to change the type to a float. And we're going to give it a new name. We're going to call this the offset. And I'll explain why here momentarily. Okay, with our custom event complete, we're going to hold Control on our keyboard. And over in the My Blueprint window over here, you can see our cube static mesh that we added as a component in our world. And
Let's
offset.
skip ahead to the part that
that
I need.
First, that we'll compile and save. And let's hop back over to the level now. First thing we need to do is actually drag and drop our movable cube blueprint into our level like so. And once we have it in our level, we're going to go up to the toolbar up here. There's a blueprints option at the toolbar. Go ahead and click that. And in the middle, there's a section called to it. So go ahead and hop back to our movable cube blueprint. That's for move player event. In here to our event dispatch. Let's right click, player character in the air, Boom. Well, we're going to put this up to 2000 just to make sure it works. And launches our character up pretty high. So let's hit compile. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Okay, this taught me nothing that I wanted to learn. So screw that. Ah. This is really frustrating to me. I mean, I'm going through this, okay, how do I communicate between two different ones? And nobody's telling me how. I mean, this says between blueprints, but it's all, level blueprints. Ah. Alright. More blueprint communication.
Hello everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at how we can use direct blueprint communication to communicate between several blueprints or directly between two blueprints. So let's take a look at what we're going to do. We have the blueprint first person template up with starter content enabled. We're going to need to create some blueprints really quickly. So I'm going to hop down to the starter content in a shape sphere, communicating from this blueprint to this blueprint to move up. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to hop to the shape cube first, and we're going to hop to the event graph, right-clicking and dragging to hide the default nodes because we're not going to use those. I'm going to right-click on the graph and create a custom event. Drag in a static mesh, or drag in our static, use our own called. So with that, let's compile and save. Let's hop over to the shape sphere blueprint now, and to the event graph. Right-clicking and dragging those nodes off the screen because we don't want those. We're going to use our own. First thing we need to do, though, is select our static mesh, and in the details panel, we need to make sure that we are not set to block all dynamic and collision, because we want to make sure that only. So, referring to our static mesh. Now, with that, there's one thing we need to do before we continue. We need to create. Now, in the details panel, there's some things we need to change really quickly for this blueprint. I'm going to click the variable type drop our variable here, which is referring to a shape cube. Let's first of all make sure that the shape cube is valid and connect that like so. So when we overlap this static mesh, make sure that this object is indeed valid. If it is, call the move up event inside this blueprint. If I double click on move up event, it takes me to that custom event, which is our other blueprint, and what it is going to do. So when we overlap this static is valid.
Okay, how'd you get the mover signal though?
Let's go ahead and select that.
Oh,
now the detail
variable type is...
So we're looking for our shape cube blueprint. That is the...
Okay. So, the way we do this... is we would have a time manager. Time manager reference. We can just leave that as is. Get. All right. Set day. Or actually, you think we actually just do this in the construction script finally. Oh, nope. Get day int or day num. So, does that work? Seems to. Not gonna rule it out just yet. Time manager. Event begin play. Construction script. On construction, we will set day num to 2. And event begin play, day num equals 3.
blueprint that we just created. But if it is valid, really quickly, just directly communicating from this is not. Let's hop into the editor here. 50 units. So
let's check if that is valid. So if it's valid, then continue on and set tower mesh, which is what I'm doing on my other screen right now. Okay, well that tells us one thing. All right. So, get all actors of type time manager get number 1 and then set here. I'll bring this over here so you can see what we're doing. We're getting all actors of class type manager. There should only ever be one. And then we drop that in there. We get, and then we set that. And then we move over here. Now we can actually just go straight into that. We don't need this one down here anymore. So if it's valid, and it is not, so somehow, yeah, our time manager is not valid. Probably because we need to have it in the level itself. But game state. So what if we go back here and not actor, get game state. Alright, first let's see if game state is valid. I'll compile that. Yeah, alright. Gotta cast cast to time manager. Apparently that's the only thing I can cast to. If valid, do all this. So there's tons of validity going on, but none of it's, saying that our game state's valid. So, I was hoping to get this time manager at least dealt with. Maybe I should just do it as an actor class.
Let's hop into the editor here. Let's actually make sure I compiled really quickly, just for the sake of it, and save. Let's hop into the editor here and play. And let's find our sphere here. Now you would think that this would work. Everything looks good in our blueprint. Let's test it out. I move into it and it does not move our cube. Now why is that? Let's take a look at why that is. So we have our sphere here and we have our cube and we are directly communicating from this sphere to this cube. If I select my sphere here and you look in the details panel, for the mover signal that we created, that variable, it is pointing to none. And it is pointing to none, even though we specified a variable. We need to say which instance of our shape cube blueprint we are referring to. So if I hold Alt and drag out a copy of this, this is why we need to specify an instance. So if I click this little eyedropper here, it says pick actor from scene. I can click it, and inside the level, now I can select which instance of that blueprint we want to affect. So let's go ahead and select this one. And now if I play, and go over to my cube here, watch what happens. only the left one moves up because we specified that instance as being the one to affect. So with that, you've learned how to directly communicate from one blueprint to another. We didn't specify that we want to talk to this blueprint. So what we need to do now, if we want to communicate with multiple blueprints, we can do that a little bit differently. So let's hop over to our shape sphere blueprint here. And what we're going to do is actually, let's delete all of this. So I'm just going to left click and drag and delete that and delete this because we are not.
All right. This isn't helping. Let's see what they have for game state. Some sort of template, introduction to state machines. Menu with start load level. Maybe. Not gonna watch this for an hour. All right, let's try looking at Google. That's the Unreal game mode versus game state. So I'm set. Yeah. What the? Okay. Game state. Okay, so it looks like, game state is probably what we should be doing. But it's still, questionable how to do all that. Get game state. And obviously this guy is, game instance. Okay, so let's take a quick look here. We will do a blueprint of game instance. And we'll call it time instance. Just so we have something different. Can I drop this in here? No, I can't. Okay, this is like a completely blank blueprint. I mean, there, let's delete that. If we look at our time manager, it has like event graphs and scene components. This, however, is just completely blank. So this might actually be more of what we want. So we need the variables of, well, let's just do day int or day num. Open that up. Slider range 1 to 3. Value range 1 to 3. There we go. So now, default, we'll set that to 2. Why? Just so we can see a difference. All right, so we have time instance now. So let's find my clock festival tower. Come in here, Game instance. Cast to time instance. Hopefully this succeeds. Denum. Compile. And no, it is still failing. So, what the hell? Oh. I think I figured it out. Yeah, we still have our time manager as a game state. Let's switch to that. Suddenly, I think everything's going to work. So, compile. Okay, that's still failing. So, game mode. Or was it game instance? Game state. Get game state. And now we want denum cast to time manager. Denum get denum. Compile. Compile again. And it's still failing. Urgh. World settings. Game mode override. Majora's Mask. Save. Play. Nope, not there. Okay. I am at a point where I just want to quit. Oh. Game instance blueprint. For interlevel persistent data storage. Which is exactly what we need. Wait, what? I don't want CPU. I want blueprints. Okay, so it's a blueprint, huh? Okay. I'm just kind of done with that. I'm just gonna get rid of all this. I'm just so gosh darn tired of this. There. Set it to 2. Why? Because I freaking want to. Actually, screw it. There. Now we can adjust it in here. Level 3. It's the 3rd day. Okay. So we have a tower that's, I won't say functional, but it works. Retry. Continue. Okay, well, well, we have this as a separate instance. You know, I'm kind of distracted that it's over there and not, you know, over here, but that's something we can fix later. I mean, it's not like we have many of these. We only have one. So it could be really, you know, we could just leave this as is. You know, this is, you know, effectively final model then. Well, for the first phase of the game. We gotta do the collision, because, you know, we can go through it like a hot knife through butter or something like that. And then we got to remodel the legs, or we'll just import the old ones as a temporary thing. We've got to put in the doors and the clock and all that. And the clock's going to be interesting because we need this time manager functional, because that's how we're going to control this. And it could be that I just do each individual part and then we just rotate it in the scene. I could just do a very simple animation for it and then control that, but, you know, even if we just did bone animation, that would be one thing. But I think doing it, just rotating the object itself, would actually be preferable. Of course, you know, we're not going to rotate, you know, a whole bunch of objects. We're going to build a blueprint that interacts with the time manager so that it can, you know, constantly update as need be. Especially when we're, you know, way over here, you know, looking at town from the outside at the old water hole. Yeah. You know, when we're at the observatory. Now, if we actually do, you know, expand things out, we've probably, you know, added stuff like roofs and such. But, you know, we could probably get a lot of that from the outside models. I mean, let's take just a quick look at, you know, what this looks like from the outside. Let's load a file. There we go. Nope, still getting the polygon. So that may just be a video issue. So let me just take a quick look at this. Depth buffer. Where's the button that just resets everything? Okay, that was weird. Yeah, we have the outside walls. They cover up a lot of stuff. Okay, I have seriously no knowledge of what's causing this issue. Rolling is like the fastest way to Okay, so if we look back that way, we can see some so that's the theoretical roof for the backside of the inn. Not the inn, but the game space. You know, here, well, you know, yeah, that's the theoretical backside of, you know, those guys' place. So, yeah, what we saw over there was the theoretical backside to this. Now, you'll notice that, you know, the clock tower is a lot bigger here than it is here. Now, when we rebuild this model pretty much from scratch, we could actually, you know, take that into account. Because, yeah, I would like to rebuild, you know, this to be, you know, real size in all aspects. I mean, granted, that's not going to have a big effect on gameplay, but I think it'll be better looking. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Well, maybe not better looking, but at least, you know, better. At the very least, we could just, you know, make this tower taller. Although, honestly, I think it needs to be scaled up. I mean, you know, down here it's fine, but, you know, when you get to the end of the world clock, it feels like it's not big enough. And honestly, I think it probably could be bigger and be just fine. You keep this the same size, you keep all this the same size, you just pull the edges out. Which means Southtown needs to shift a little bit. East and North, all the other areas just need to move out a bit more. And all of that has to be, you know, properly connected. Hey, I found a chest. But, you know, that's all stuff to consider. Also, I'm noticing that you don't see the clock in here. You just get that big, you know, vision. Oh, at least we know our sky is accurate. It's just going straight towards the city. I seriously have no idea what's going on with the video of this. I'll probably have to, you know, go through here and, you know, reset everything, every option. I mean, I could actually just, you know, here, let's change plugins. Now, this guy's plugin, you know, it's not as pretty, but at least it's not having that issue. Yeah, there's no, you don't see that from the outside. Okay, I wonder if just switching that in and out will fix it. Nope. Wonder if that's an issue with the save state, though. So that could be, you know, something. It's just, you know, nope. I'm seeing the same issue here. Also, we're missing some of the effects. So yeah, that's a problem with the settings here. So that's something I'll work on fixing. All right. Well, that's a little better so far. Or not. What the hell just happened there? I don't know, maybe it's that cartridge. Oh no, this is definitely the video card, the video graphics. Alright, so DirectX. Let's show the advanced options. Display tooltips. There we are. Enable fog. Frame skip. Double. Off-screen display, display nothing. Force, transform and lighting. OpenGL for NVIDIA GeForce or better. 32-bit. Alright, let's check OpenGL. Okay, this is going to crash on us. It's like every time I do a major... Okay, OpenGL is a no-no. Back to DirectX, you know, something we know works. Well, mostly. Okay, yeah, I'm lost on the why that's happening, but that's not what's going on. So, I'm just going to kind of end things here tonight. I don't know. I'm going to try and do some research about the time manager. See if I can't find a way to make it work. Because that's seriously something that we need, is a single blueprint that can manage all of time. And a little bit of space. You know, using the game mode would work. Using, you know, a game instance would work, but apparently that doesn't work with blueprints. Go figure. So, didn't get nearly as far as I wanted to get tonight, but, you know, we got, at least we got this as a blueprint. You know, it semi-works. We just need to be able to automate it. And we can also set up the chest, so that'll be an easy thing when we get to that, after we get a chest blueprint. So, probably next time we're going to try and get a few more things blueprinted out, like the torches. Probably, yeah, we'll need to get the torches, so we'll have to be able to set those and get them to the proper locations. Also be able to turn them on and off for day or night. Because, you know, you come up here, you know, you got torches here that need to be off during the day, but on during the night. Meanwhile, here, you actually have torches that only show up during the night. The eagle, or the owl, statue needs to be a blueprint. Why? Because that way we can actually go in there and say, hey, is this opened? No, use this model. If it is, use this model. And if it is open, you can do all sorts of stuff. That could be a blueprint. That is a blueprint, but needs to be replaced. Grass, that can be a big blueprint. But you know, it needs to be able to generate stuff. And this particular grass needs to be able to run away. Which is weird. Doors. We could probably do doors as a blueprint. But, that would be a very interesting thing. Oh, the boxes need to be a blueprint because they need to, like the grass, they need to be a spawnable object when destroyed. Well, they need to be able to spawn stuff. So, really, we'll need to make like a parent breaker class, and then make these objects, the grass and the box, kind of a subset of them. So, those are all things we need to look forward to doing in the future. As always, there we go. As always, I am accepting donations for today, basically until December 12th, which is now about 24 hours from now? No, little less than 48 hours from now is the end of the 12 days of giving, meaning half of all my donations from now until then go to charity. I'm going to ask that you donate. I'm not going to force you. I will say that, the more you donate to me, the more I can support you with my stream. A lot of it, almost all of my money, goes directly to making my stream better. That includes, increasing my computing power, getting new computer parts, buying video games, all sorts of stuff. So, if you can donate, please do so. And it does go to a good cause. Let's see, it's the 11th, so what's today's? Load up. Okay, we are currently on the 11th. Doctors Without Borders. That, I think, is a very, good one. Yeah. Doctors Without Borders. Let's see, is an independent international medical humanitarian organization that provides aid to people in more than 70 countries whose survival is threatened with violence, neglect, catastrophe, primarily due to armed conflict, epidemics, malnutrition, exclusion from healthcare, or natural disasters. So if you were to donate right now or anytime until midnight, basically, 23 hours from now, okay, 22 and a half hours from now, you will, half of your donation will go directly to Doctors Without Borders. I will never see that penny of that. I get the other half. Let's see, what's tomorrow's? The final days. Operation Supply Drop. Bringing veteran and civilian supporters together. The most generationally relevant veteran support group on the planet, serving U.S., NATO, and ASNAC veterans via 3 primary programs: the teams, supply drops, and thank you deployments. So that's the 12th. That's the final day. As always, you can watch my previous videos on YouTube. For people already on YouTube, you can just go on to the next video or the previous video. The link is the same as the one up there, only it says, youtube.com instead of Twitch TV. You can catch me every night at 10 p.m. Sometimes I do game development, sometimes I do gaming, and on Mondays I usually do Minecraft, except when the server's not working, which is what happened last Monday. I still haven't got a chance to figure out what's going on with that. Or rather, how to fix it. So I need to dig into that, but that's probably something I'm going to do on the weekend. I'm hoping to continue and finish up the script sometime tomorrow or the day after. Basically, I got to apply the textures, or apply the materials, the shaders, as the code calls it. It's interesting. The code calls them shaders, but they're labeled as materials. So, go figure. Once I get that applied to the mesh in the proper locations, then I just have to apply the UVs, and then we should be good to go with that importer. Well, then I gotta get the bones to get the, to apply the, the weights. followed by animation importing. And once I get to that point, we will actually be pretty much duplicating what the Blender script does. At which point I will improve upon it. I will actually, once I get the script to a point where I feel happy with it, I'm actually going to make like a Bitbucket thing for it, and open it up so anybody can edit it. Or people can even go in and say, hey, there's a problem with this. Can you try and fix it? So those are all things I'm going to do. But I figured out what one of the biggest problems with that script was. Going through the code, it became obvious to me. He's only looking for objects that have bones. They have to have a hierarchy of some kind. And, all I've been able to open have been characters. So these, the boxes that the box that you see right here, that's an object. But I can't load that with his plugin because there's no bones. So advances like that are one of the things I'm going to be trying to improve upon after I finish getting basically duplicate functionality. I'm also going to try and right now it's a what is it? It's a command. Basically, you have to hit this little command in order to get the script to function. I'm going to eventually get it over to an actual importer so that it will just load the file. You just go, hey, I need this, and then it will load in when you try to import or open. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully I can get that script up and running and everything will be all hunky-dory. So yeah, we need more blueprints. We need I need to figure out that time thing because that just that is very important to everything. Once we figure out the time system, we can actually start building our interface. So we can actually say, oh, okay, so it's this time. All right, good. It's actually dawn of the 7th day. I think you didn't put a maximum on your script. Alright, so that covers everything about 2 or 3 times. I've had fun. I hope you've had fun too. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Bye.